ICC at its core is really focused on delivering safe, affordable, resilient, and sustainable housing. And so we definitely see offsite construction as a huge component of that. Often folks sort of look at codes as maybe a barrier to that. And so we're really working to help streamline that process, assure that we can get the offsite construction that can deliver what communities need.
Hey everybody, Dave Cooper, and we are at the International Code Council headquarters in Washington, D.C. And standing with me is no stranger to our show, Ryan Colker, Vice President of Innovation. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
All right, Ryan, so we've been talking and I'm listening to what people are saying out in the world as well. And I don't think a lot of people really understand what the ICC does. So can you tell us just a little bit about what you do here?
Sure. So ICC is probably best known for the development of model building codes and standards like the International Building Code, International Residential Code, but we also provide a lot of the services and support tools that make those codes effective. So thinking about things like education and training of code officials, contractors, and other folks, resources for code departments to effectively implement codes, those sorts of things.
So if I'm a builder or a manufacturer out in the field and I go to submit my plans, it's your codes that we're following that have been put in place.
Generally, yeah.
Right.
So we develop the models, which then states and localities pick up. They can amend if they see different things that they want to change. But ultimately, in most locations, the sort of core of the code is based off of our content.
And we're going to get into that, and we're going to talk a little bit in a minute about how people can get involved in understanding what those codes are and maybe even have a part in developing codes. But a hot topic right now, why we're here in DC, right? The Innovative Housing Showcase out on the mall has a lot of offsite construction, modular, panelized, a lot of tech out there. Offsite's kind of really coming on stronger and stronger. What is the role that the ICC is taking in this, and how do people get involved with helping form those rules?
So ICC at its core is really focused on delivering safe, affordable, resilient, and sustainable housing. And so we definitely see offsite construction as a huge component of that. Often folks sort of look at codes as maybe a barrier to that. And so we're really working to help streamline that process, assure that we can get the offsite construction that can deliver what communities need.
Sure. What is kind of the biggest holdup or the biggest problem that you're running into with offsite construction? Is it just so new and there's so much to look at? Like when I think about your job and all of the new companies that are starting up across the country, like we have out here in the showcase, international companies are looking to come here and do business. We got folding houses starting to happen, right? Boxable out in Nevada. How do you make this all happen? And is it a problem, or is it something that you guys have a solution for?
I think there's a few different things. I mean, certainly education across the industry with code officials of really being able to just sort of recognize, what's coming into their community, assuring that it's safe, that it's meeting their needs. So that's certainly a challenge and one that we're definitely working on. The other piece is really understanding the regulatory landscape. So, if you think about a site-built home, it's built in that community, everything happens, in that community. And so a local inspector can show up, know what's going on. You talk about offsite construction, that can be happening in a factory hundreds, even thousands of miles away. And so how does a code official really assure that building is going to meet the requirements of their community? And so really getting to that streamlined process of consistency is really where we've been focusing on, primarily through the development of standards.
Code officials. Right? They're pretty much in everybody's backyard. If you want to build something in most states, you have to get approvals from a code official that comes out to the job site and inspects. Not all code officials understand offsite or understand the code, and there's things happening that some of them, from an education standpoint, don't know yet. What is the ICC working on to help educate the thousands of code officials that are out there? Because this is coming on fast and strong.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a few things that we've done already and a couple things in the pipeline. So we've put out some primers, FAQs, and resources around the various different flavors of offsite construction, so code officials sort of can understand what they're looking at, what are the different sort of regulatory pathways to assure that those different strategies meet requirements. We're actually in the process of developing a credential of learning achievement around the ICC MBI standards for offsite construction. So code officials can dive into really understanding sort of what the standards cover, what to look for, those sorts of things.
All right, so you're working with other organizations, coming up with some codes and standards. How does the population, the builders, the manufacturers that are out there get involved and have a say of what's actually happening? Because like I said, we got folding houses, we got panelized, like there's so much going on. Not one person really can understand all of that.
Yeah, so the beauty of the ICC's process for development of codes and standards is open. So through the code development process, anyone can propose a code change proposal. So if they see something that's not working in the industry, have an idea on how to fix it, the code change process, folks can submit. That happens every 3 years. In the standards development process, we again have opportunities for folks to provide public comment to the standards that we're developing. And it would be great to have more folks involved in the standards development process itself.
So how do we do that? How do we get more people involved?
So I think, certainly having recognition of the impact that codes and standards have, I think, certainly drives interest. I think as we talk about new innovative products, being able to identify sort of how do they fit within the current landscape, what are the needs, I think that's a huge opportunity. Just look at what's happening across the country in communities and having folks participate in that process.
It's a big elephant, right? Offsite construction to take a bite out of, putting these policies in place with so much new innovation coming on. How do you work with the local states, to understand that or allow new technology? Or does everybody have to wait 3 years like they're waiting for a patent or whatever?
No, we actually have multiple different ways that new innovations can enter the landscape. So you certainly have the code development process, every 3 years. Provides a great opportunity for integration of new technologies on a pretty rapid scale. Yeah. But we do still see new technologies entering the marketplace that maybe aren't sort of specifically called out in the code or don't have sort of an exact reference, or folks aren't really familiar with it. So we have a process for that as well, product evaluation through our ICC evaluation service. So basically the evaluation service comes up with the tests and requirements that a manufacturer would need to do to show that that product meets the intent of the code. And then ICCES will take a look at that and say, yes, you've met the intent of the code. Here's a certificate. Take that certificate to your designers, to your architects, engineers, to your code officials to say, it's gone through this process to say, this new innovative product meets the requirements and intent of the code.
What's the biggest misconception then of the ICC? Because it sounds to me like there's a way forward with new innovation. There is a process, and that's for the safety of the public. That's one of the main jobs is the safety of everybody out there. What is the biggest misconception you feel that you get attacked on, I would say, every day, right?
Yeah, and I think you hit on it. I mean, I think it's the barrier to innovation. Yeah. Folks see maybe the code as stifling innovation, but there's so many different opportunities to bring innovation into the marketplace through codes, through product evaluation, and those sorts of things. So ICC is really there to help create those safe, resilient, sustainable, and affordable buildings, but making sure that they are safe, bringing that balance to the conversation.
I love it. Ryan, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ryan Colker, VP of Innovation here at the International Code Council, working for you each and every day. I've got to know him more and more as time has gone on. And Ryan, I appreciate everything you do. And he's pretty much involved in everything happening out there when it comes to offsite construction. So thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Dave Cooper, DC. We'll see you next time.